Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of the Mental Toughness and Body Show. On this show, we are going to talk today about technology in health and fitness. It's a very flooded market, and yet as a population, people in both the US and Australia are getting more and more unhealthy every day. But our guest today has something very important to say, and you'll be blown away by what we're about to talk about. Obviously, on this podcast, we've interviewed people from all walks of life, and today we're going to have John Schirra. He's an authority in the health and fitness and technology, lifestyle technology space. John, how are you?
I'm doing well, Rob. Nice to see you, and thanks for inviting me on the show.
Thank you so much. It's been a long time for us to get to this moment, but and I'm glad that we're here. Now, let me tell you a little bit about John and how we met. John is actually somebody that I got to know and his business from the very first day of business, and that's not a lie. I finished my corporate job, I think it was on the 28th of September, and on the 29th of September, which was a Saturday, I attended a conference, and John's products were being sold there, and I bought it on day one. So we've met in person once, but we've been having conversations for essentially like 14 years now. John is somebody that is very near and dear to me in what I do in my business, had a huge impact on what I do with my clients and how I work with my clients. Somebody I consider a friend is a really great connection to have, and just a really genuine guy. So John, it's an honor to have you on the show here with me today.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Rob. Grateful.
So John, maybe by way of background, I mean, you've been in business in this space since 1995. So maybe just tell us a little bit about what you do. You're the CEO and founder of Lifestyles Technology. So maybe just tell us a little bit about why you got into that space and where things are at today.
Sure. Great. In 1994, I owned two personal training studios. And my wife at that time was a licensed nutritionist. She did a lot of clinical work, and she got into sports nutrition. And I was not only a business owner, but an owner operator. I did some training. I was a certified master personal trainer. And I enjoyed the freedom of being a trainer, having my own hours. But, when you have your own business, sometimes those hours are 5 a.m. until 9 o'clock at night. One of the things that we were challenged with was nutritional planning, because everybody wanted a diet. Yeah. And at that time, the internet wasn't really, even though it was around, the maximum, the high technology was, you've got mail. That was it. That was it. If you got mail, you were on the bleeding edge of technology. Yes. So I had at that time probably about 15 years of high-tech industry, computer industry experience. I sold computers for a company called MicroAge out of Arizona. And I also worked with a bunch of developers, computer developers back at that time. And because my wife at that time was complaining about how she had to put together meal plans and it took so much time, I said, hey, why don't I get with some of my colleagues from my previous job, see if we can get one of those developers to write something for you to make this process faster. So I hired two guys. They got it built. We used it in our facility, used to crank out meal plans and grocery lists, and our clients saw results. They loved it. And lo and behold, one morning I'm on the treadmill and I'm walking next to this guy and we're talking. It's probably like 6 a.m. And he said, my wife and I, we've had amazing results. And we got these really cool printouts from Michelle. And they showed us what to eat and the grocery list, and we love those. Is that your software that's doing that? And I said, yeah, I had somebody write it for us. And he was like, well, I think it's the greatest thing. I own a mergers and acquisitions company. If you want to throw some money at it, I'll match you dollar for dollar and I'll invest in it and let's see where it goes. And I later found out he sat on the board of the American Dietetic Association. That was a big boost. And from that point on, started throwing money at it. This is probably 1995. We ended up selling the studios in 1996, and we started attending conventions and trade shows. And lo and behold, Diet Master Pro was on the market. And at that time, we were kind of the only game in town. And it was a lot of fun. We had a good time selling nutrition software, teaching how to use it with clients, and it became a big game changer.
Mm.
So from there, it obviously morphed into an online version, a mobile version, and we're in our 30th year of business now, and the biggest transition that I've seen in the industry is first of all, number one, it's here in the United States, it's saturated. Um,
Yeah.
there are so many personal trainers, there are so many different tools to help trainers.
Yes.
Uh, the nutritional market has been oversaturated. There are all these different products. And the problem is you have these consumer-based products that are influencing the consumers, which are the personal trainer's customer. But the trainer is telling them one thing, but yet the consumer is being pulled by the media in another direction, for the quick fix, like, hey, you take this pill, you get this shot, you eat this food, you drink this shake, and that's all you need to do. Where the trainer's going, wait, look, this is a lifestyle. You've got to make changes. I'm going to show you how to make those changes, how to incorporate fitness, activity, and proper eating into your life, because it is a true lifestyle change. It's not the quick fix. So there's been this constant push and pull between the health club industry and the consumer market, which has been really, like I said, pulled along by media and big pharma, and these new medical weight loss injections that have taken our country by storm. And now I think you mentioned you had heard of these new injections, correct, Rob?
Yeah, that's right. I've had one client in particular that mentioned it to me probably a couple of months ago, that probably October, November last year, and I'm like, what's this? And yeah, where does that come from? Why are you taking it, etc. So yeah, maybe tell us a little bit about that. I mean, I know. Well, before we get into that, certainly from Australia, US perspective, I know in terms of fitness trends, I reckon Australia's about 2 years behind in terms of
Right.
like take CrossFit, for instance. I reckon that took probably a few years before it became really big here. I think it's kind of dying off now, but yeah, we're a couple of years behind in that perspective. So maybe this will be the same. I'm hearing more and more demand for it. So yeah, maybe tell us a little bit about it and what's happening in the US.
So I don't mean to get, I put my glasses on here because I have to read this because some of the words are pretty big.
Yes, yes.
It's like, you start talking about medicine, right?
Yeah, I don't
Um,
even know what it's called. So it's got a very long name.
so the body has, peptides in there that are responsible, for I guess the process of digestion. And glucagon is a like peptide 1 agonist, which is a class of this process where medications address this this agonist and utilize a treatment that's very common with type 2 diabetes. And that really what it is, raw bottom line, it's a appetite suppressant.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
By using an appetite suppressant, um, we can stabilize for diabetics blood sugar levels. We can really control insulin levels, and it really has been an amazing medication. Well, during the first couple years of the rollout of this, those patients that were undergoing this type of GLP-1 injection therapy had noticed a pretty good
Weight
amount
loss.
of weight loss.
Mm.
So all of a sudden now, I guess through certain research and studies in medical weight loss, it was found that even people without diabetes can take these shots and they will achieve pretty significant weight loss results. So I'm not going to call it the magic pill because it's very short-sighted. And I mentioned this to you in a previous conversation. It's really like, let's metaphorically speak about the human body that is not healthy, and it's certainly visual on the outside.
Mm.
So if you take a car, a vehicle that's say 20, 25 years old, and the engine is suffering, all the mechanics is suffering, but you get a brand new paint job on it.
Mm.
So, this is a great metaphor because even though you're losing weight, you're not fixing the problem, because an appetite suppressant is only as good as how long you're on the medication to suppress the appetite.
Yeah,
Because once you get off, what
the
happens?
returns.
It returns. But there's a much bigger picture here that is very sad. Um, because you're suppressing appetite, because there is almost very little appetite. I mean, these people they just don't want to eat.
Yeah,
And we have, Diet Master has meal plans that address these issues. But the big factor here, Rob, is that they lose lean mass.
yeah,
They lose their lean muscle tissue. Uh, they have a tremendous deficiency in nutrient density
yeah,
as far as the foods that they're consuming. And we've even seen cases of malnutrition side effects pop up: lethargy, headache, nausea, cramping, digestive flow shutting down, dehydration, just so many different side effects for people that have been on it for an extended period of time. And when I say extended period of time, I'm speaking like greater than 90 days. So, what becomes apparent is we are taking a patient, giving them this new paint job so they look in the mirror and they fit in their clothes great.
yeah,
But as soon as they get off of that medication, they start gaining weight on a body composition structure that has very much less lean mass. So all the weight they're going to gain is going to be fat mass
yeah,
and water weight. So they're going to put on all this weight all of a sudden because it's like a dried sponge you find under the sink that's shrunk up, and then you put it under water, and what happens?
bam.
Blows up, right? And then you have a body fat percentage that is almost equivalent to pretty much where they started. And this is really sad because then you get back into the stereotypical yo-yo of most folks
Yeah,
that don't realize that it takes a lifestyle commitment to make a change to have a healthier body and a healthier way of life. So my my best piece of advice that I can give to your audience is be ready. The wave is coming. Again, these are medications known here in the States. There is what's called Wegovy, Ozempic, and they are classified as GLP-1, these peptide-1 agonist or appetite suppressant medications. And you just need to understand that where this thing fits in, it is not the magic pill. It's
Mm.
not the one bullet, silver bullet shot that's fixing everything. All it's doing is putting that new paint job on a very old problem that it's just going to just delay the inevitable. And actually, it's going to create a society, which is even more depressing,
Yeah.
of people that are constantly going to believe that there is a magic shot or magic pill that they can take to look better in their clothes and lose some weight so they look like the models on television.
Yes.
And and then we're going to have a bunch of unhealthy, even more unhealthy people walking around waiting for the next breakthrough in medicine.
Right.
So it's very sad, and I just want everybody to know that, once you face, if you're in the health and fitness business and you feel this wave coming, you see it in the media, and hopefully it'll be more regulated here in the United States. I mean, the greatest thing that recently happened was the state of California. They passed a law that prohibited the prescribing of these shots to patients unless you were a physician that you were treating diabetics.
Yeah.
Period. The end. But what we had going on in the state of California is any of these medical weight loss vanity shops and spas where you got Botox and, all these different treatments, so to speak, facials. I
Yeah.
mean, they were all giving these injections.
Yeah.
And there's many states and cities in our country that are still able to do that. So it's being passed out like candy. It
Yeah.
really is. And you everybody needs to know that's coming. And again, I'm hoping that the Australian government and the medical board, they learn from what's happening in the States, and they put some clamps down on this and restrictions and make it only available to those that have diabetes or comorbid or morbid obesity classifications where their body weight is 80 or more pounds above what their normal baseline is. So
Yes.
that is the biggest thing I can tell you in this discussion, for everyone to be aware and be educated and proceed cautiously.
Well, sir, thank you for all of that, John. A heap of information in there. From an Australian perspective, I'm not being a doctor myself. I can't talk about what regulations they have put in place. Just the observations that I've seen, that you do have to get it through a GP. Certainly, that latter point you said about like whether it's a certain BMI or whatever, I think it's up to the individual doctor. And if they see a patient that looks overweight and the patient asks for it, they give it to them. It's like diabetes medication. They inject it themselves. And I
Right.
guess at the time that they're instructed, but I guess if they want faster results, they'll do it faster. I have no idea. It's quite expensive here. Is it priced
Mhm.
like that in the US?
Yeah, it's it's close to $1,000, 1,000 US dollars a month.
I think
It's
it's a
like,
bit cheaper than that here. I think it's like um, oh, don't quote me. I think it's about $600 to $800 for a similar sort of treatment.
Mhm.
So maybe it's subsidized. I don't know.
Yeah, not sure. But I was speaking to this physician, and he has contracts now where he's selling these drugs to other physicians, and I approached him on our medical nutrition therapy platform as a value add service to the patients.
Yes.
And, where, I told him, I said, look, you're only presenting, you're providing a treatment that is very short-sighted. As a physician, and most physicians, they have an outlook on prevention, not just treatment. And he told me that he was not interested because he was too busy
Yeah.
selling
Prescribing.
these medications. He didn't have the time to implement any other kind of service.
Yeah.
So I hung
Right.
up the phone, and I'm telling you, I was like, really? This is where this is going? I mean,
Yeah.
it's really sad.
So I don't know whether it's similar to what's happening with bariatric surgery over there. So for listeners, your bariatric surgery is like the removing 2/3 of the stomach, or we have the
Yeah.
gastric, that which is called a gastric sleeve. You have the gastric band as well, where they put a band around the tummy and
Right.
they fill it up with saline. Again, they're both designed hardcore to reduce the appetite. What I see here in Australia, and I am yet to be able to connect with a bariatric surgeon that gets this, but uh, they have such a queue of people to perform the surgeries on, because I'm seeing more and more people, and I'm seeing clients after they've had it, and they come in and then they start to, oh, I better do something about my health and wellness. People see it costs about $11,000 here. Um,
Right.
and obviously it's fast, it gets fast results. I've had some clients that have lost 91 kilos and beyond in that. So obviously coming from a very unhealthy perspective. But then some people will just continue, like you said in the example before with the car, will continue to lead an unhealthy lifestyle. And I think this medication is again, it's a quick fix. But I'm seeing these bariatric surgeons, they don't have a bigger perspective. And okay, I believe that there's supposed to be some counseling before so that they can make sure their mindset is right. But let's face it, people will just say whatever they want to say so that they can get the surgery. I can tell that their mindset is still messed up when they come and work with me. And so we're getting these individuals that aesthetically might look slim, but they're not healthy, they're not energized, and they're nutrient starved. Their hair starts to fall out, they have problems with their skin and their nails and sleep and all kinds of different things. And yet losing so much muscle density as well. So given all of that, and I mean, we could throw AI in there as well in terms of the tech space, and just type into AI, give me a meal plan, and bang, there it gives you a meal plan, but it's been created by AI, not by a dietitian. What do you think we do to try and have an impact here? Because the injections, future pills, etc., is not going to stop, because the big pharma, it's a $1 trillion industry globally. What do we do?
Um, well, first of all, it has to be top down. There has to be regulation. There are more regulations coming into play now here in the States with AI, because it literally is a gold rush.
Yeah,
There's so many developers. I mean, we're a developer. We're developing some AI products right now. But our AI products, when a plan is recommended, it's pulling from our massive repository of plans that have been designed by licensed and registered dietitians that are
yes,
all evidence-based.
yes,
So these are plans that have actually been used in a clinical atmosphere,
yes.
whether that be for general weight loss or fitness and performance, or medical weight loss, or post bariatric surgery, or even these GLP-1 appetite suppressant injections. So, AI is, I think, something that we cannot ignore. It's coming for the fitness industry. You're right. They can go out to certain AI platforms and type in, I need this kind of meal plan, and it'll say, here's 2 days or 3 day example. Um, it won't give you a grocery list, but at the bottom there's this big disclaimer that says, before following any kind of change in dietary habits, you should seek the advice of a licensed medical practitioner if you have any medical conditions or whatever. But the other thing is it's not truly tailored to the individual.
Yeah.
And it's, and this, Rob, and I'm a horseman. I in my dream side job that I have, I mean, I'm a professional horse trainer, a horse competitor. And the old saying has never been more true. And I don't know if you've heard this over in Australia, but you can lead a horse to water, but you can't force them to drink,
Yeah.
from the trough. And these people that are given guidance, no matter what the guidance is, it could be a nutritional plan generated by AI. It could be a nutritional plan presented by a licensed dietitian, or handed to them by a doctor or a dietitian. That doesn't mean that that person is going to follow it.
Yeah.
And I think the bigger challenge here, that we have control of as individuals, as entrepreneurs, is creating relationships and trust to become the trusted advisor, and making your customers aware that this is all media, pharma, and greed driven. The the ultimate reality is this: those, media, pharma, all this stuff, they don't have the best interest of that person in mind. They don't, because they don't even know them.
Yeah.
But as a business proprietor, as a counselor, you have developed a relationship with your customer. So there is a level of trust and bond. You need to educate your people on not falling into this trap. And it makes the message that we as fitness professionals and health counselors have, pushed all along. I mean, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
So the best way, the two biggest things we can do to answer your question are pray for regulation, get out and vote, support your local, city, state, and federal governments' initiatives to control these issues, and then take responsibility to get to know your customers on an intimate level, educate them, make them aware of these things, and help them through the challenges of a lifestyle change.
Yeah, great point. So, I mean, where I'm trying to play a role to influence my community is through educational based marketing, I suppose, and just putting a lot of content out every day that is all coming back to lifestyle. Like there's no quick fix. It's like if you flip over to say, now, if we just talk business for a second, there's no surgery that you can have. There's no injection that you can take that is going to make you better at business, right? You have to do the hard work, and the best way is like a lifestyle. You've got to develop the right focus and work ethic in business in order to be a success. And the best way to do that is to get a coach. And so you get that coaching from the right person that can really understand you from a health perspective is super, super important. And I don't think any AI that exists right now or coming in the future, if we live in a world where we've got, you're training with a cyborg or whatever, at the end of the day, you cannot get away from, you need to have that human to human interaction at some point if you really want to optimize it.
Right,
Because
right.
given everything that we've got, and we've got these pills, injections, surgeries, etc., and yet in both, I think in your country, The overweight and obesity rates are 70% or more now. In my country, it's around 67% here in Australia. And guess what? They're not going down. They get
Right.
worse because we're living in a world. You just go down to the supermarket, or I live in Melbourne, and it's one of the most expensive places to live in the world now, with real estate prices and food
Wow.
prices and everything. And so that puts pressure on both. Well, if you're a single income family, but if there's two incomes coming into the family, they both work, they're both tired, they're both not looking after themselves, they're eating more takeaway food. So higher calorie, less nutritionally dense, and it's just this downward sort of spiral. And so, yeah, we're getting all this technology and solutions coming along, but we're becoming more and more unhealthy. So clearly, it's not working. So we have to somehow get into people's heads about changing lifestyle.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's the message hasn't changed. It's been what, 40 years? The fitness revolution, I would say, I don't know if you remember Olivia Newton-John,
Yes, Australian.
right?
Yeah,
Let's get physical, right?
that's
What
right.
was that? That was back in the 70s. And
The
I think,
aerobics. Yep.
yeah, the Reebok step and the aerobics, and you know the tall socks, the scrunchy
Yeah, yeah,
aerobic
yeah. The leg
socks,
warmers.
the leg
Yeah.
warmers. Thank you.
Yes.
Um,
Leotards, all that. Yeah.
so that's what in my mind, that was when the revolution started, and the message hasn't changed. It's still the same, and it doesn't matter what you throw against this this plate. The only thing that sticks is change of lifestyle and consistency, and it's commitment. It's the sad part is we are a species that have a tendency to be lazy, and there's a funny, and I want all your listeners to take my advice on this, because there's a very good show that it's a family show and the kids will love it. It's a Disney Studios motion picture. It's called Wall-E, and it's WALL hyphen E.
Oh, that's the
And
robot.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, Wall-E, they show how he has to survive this. I guess he's like the lone survivor on a desolate planet that's been, you know, smashed by some type of Armageddon war or whatever, and he ends up going up into a spaceship, and this spaceship is a species of overweight people that are all built like balls. They're all round, and they don't have to do anything. All they do is push buttons and speak to AI. Like they speak to AI, hey, I want a hamburger and a milkshake, and boom, it pops out in front of them. If they need to go somewhere, they're all like strapped into these little scooters, so they never have to walk anywhere. They never have to wash or bathe themselves. They don't move. They just sit in a chair, and it's a satire, and the movie has almost like this obsession with making this point that this is where it's all going, you know and it's it but it only I think only adults are going to get that message, but the satire is something that's extremely entertaining and also a little frightful, that a lot of adults would obviously get a little bit of entertainment, be able to chuckle about it, but I hope that's not where we're going, honestly.
Yeah, let's hope so. John, maybe final question for you, just conscious of our time here. Obviously, you've been in this space of 30 years. We get to that stage in our business where it's like, okay, what's that next thing? When you've had as much success as you've had and still having, and you've built like your baby that you're working with here,
Yeah.
how do you get, it's almost like retirement from sport. How do you get to that position where you decide that it's time to exit the business? And how do you do that? And yeah, just interested on your thoughts around that. The million-dollar question, hey?
Wow. You know, I don't know if I'm ever going to retire. It's
Me either. I don't think you can.
I don't. Well, the problem is this. I'm not digging ditches. I'm not out there shoveling coal or breaking rock in a rock pit. I am doing something I am very passionate about. Um, I am trying to make an impact on as many professional health and nutrition consultants, fitness professionals, doctors, healthcare systems, because if I can get into their processes, they are then attached to their customers, which are 1,000 fold. So that is the way that I'm going to monetize my passion or my message, is by providing technology and tools that are not that they're more what I would call the educational perspective, and things that can be applied to daily life. And if for me, I feel as though there's not enough time in my
Yeah.
lifetime
Just do
to
everything.
to make this legacy happen. One of the things that, and I think this is an important message for everybody that's in health and fitness. You need to find a way to create a passive income. If your passion is health, if you enjoy coaching people and helping people, you really, and you want to do this the rest of your life. Maybe it's all that you know. Find out a way to create a passive income where you have some money coming in, where you can slow down. You don't have to be running a brick and mortar company, or you don't have to be seeing 10 clients a day or counseling with 14 patients a day, and you still have money coming in. And that is the American dream, I think, at this point in time. It used to be having your own business, right? Have a bakery or a barber shop, or whatever. People could walk in and they buy stuff from you and you see them. It's not that way anymore. It's everything is online and instant. Everything has to be instant. So try to find ways to take what monetize it, package it, and sell it somehow to people so you can educate them and create a reoccurring income from it. That's where everything is going, because you can't be like, if you're a personal trainer or a doctor, you've only got so many years where you have the energy to continue
Yeah.
to see that
Now.
many people every day, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what gets really tough. And that's something for me. I am 63. um, and yeah, I mean, am I going to pass this to my family? Possibly. Am I going to sell it? Possibly. We're making a big transition more into the healthcare model right now, because
Yes.
that's where the help is really needed,
Yes.
especially in the AI atmosphere. But bringing AI with evidence-based credibility is something that we're focused on, going forward. And I don't think I'm going to stop until I have that in place, or at
Yeah.
least I have a couple wins, and then I'm done. I'm out.
Well, John, you certainly don't look 63, and I think that's a testament to your lifelong commitment to your own health and wellness as well. Um,
Thanks.
and maybe we'll get you on another show. We can talk about your personal routine and so forth. But look, once again, I just want to thank you for your friendship, our connection, and
Absolutely.
that's well, I'll give a shout out to Sean Greeley. It's only happened because of him, based in the sea. Now lives in Brisbane, Australia here. But He was the one that connected us through his business, MPE. And so certainly grateful for that connection. And you've added so much content here today. It's such an interesting conversation, and talking about some of those things that people here in Australia certainly will just not be aware of.
Yeah.
And I think it's disturbing, some of these trends that are happening. So a great show. Thanks so much. I'm going to put some
Very
links
welcome.
below this podcast so that people can get in touch with you if they'd like to get in touch and find more about your products and business and so forth. Like I say, it's been life-changing for not just for me as a business owner, but for me personally as well. I use the software and the app. All my meal plans that I create for my clients come through Diet Master Pro and the mobile app, and my clients just love it. And that's how I've been able to systemize consistency with my business. Because there's certainly a trend here in Australia where you've got people out there in the PT space where they're not supposed to be giving any nutritional advice at all here in Australia. It's the rules, but they are. And it's dangerous because I see clients that have come to me and they show me what they've been given. I say, oh my God, that they shouldn't be doing that. They're not allowed to do that, but they do it because they think they have all the answers. So, John, thank you so much again. It's been a privilege and an honor to have you on the show today.
Thank you. And I love you, brother. Best of luck to you in 2024. And I appreciate the time to speak to you today.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.